Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Trep Show. I'm your host, Gary Dobbs. We're here with episode number 41. And Thaddeus Archibald's not going to be with us today, so we're going to keep you going with today's show. And we're going to have him back next week. So this week's episode is what we're looking at is, are you selling a dream or are you living a nightmare? Right? As an entrepreneur, you know for anybody out there, you know that the competition's heavy. I think one thing I've noticed out there with the market, especially with a lot of the social media influencers I know, they work hard at being an entrepreneur, and a lot of people are trying to figure it out, start their own business, kind of create their own income through doing something they'd love to do. But it can be a challenging thing to endure, and I think to go for an extended period of time at doing it and trying to figuring it out, I think down the long haul it starts to weed out the ones that aren't truly really interested in going in it for the long term. Maybe they went in it for the wrong reasons, or maybe their heart just wasn't in it. They didn't have it to go for the long term. But it can be tough. It can definitely be a challenging thing to do once you take on to do it. So I recommend anybody to get a circle of support of people that may be other entrepreneurs that you know, or a lot of people you stay in contact with, to keep each other charged up and engaged with this, and get out there and network too. Meet more people in the industry. Even go to networking events with people doing the same thing you're doing. Even if you're a competitive person, it could give you some inspiration. Even now, what I was thinking of when I came up with the show title today was I was watching quite a few of the episodes on Shark Tank, and I was noticing that what I started noticing between a lot of the contestants when they're talking about their product, I could see for some, like in their eyes, you could tell they're trying so hard, and to only promote like good information on it. It's be a tricky thing, right? They need to be honest about where their business has been, but they also need to be selling it, and so you want to sell the others on the vision and connect with them. But what I noticed, what a lot of these different entrepreneurs on that show were coming up with, was they couldn't let go of something that wasn't working, right? Like there were some people, they were so passionate about something that maybe just wasn't working for a long period of time. They weren't getting additional sales, or maybe the business was even going down. So I think knowing your market and understanding, what people want today and what they want for it is really important. Because not many people are going to be able to create a new market and actually have the drive and the momentum to actually create that new market and flourish with their company, because there's so much exposure, there's so much education that they have to give to people, and when you've got to educate people on something new that's never been offered, if they don't know about it, it's going to take quite a bit of time to get them interested in this product. So, but if it's something that people want and they're looking for options, it's a totally different story. But if they're not looking for options, and it's just you got a new product or service that they'd never heard about, they're kind of confused, it's just going to take time for them to get to know it. I was watching this couple, these friends that started this business on the Shark Tank. They were launching their product, they were trying to raise some money, and they had this sticker company. It was called like, make any t-shirt, like a business attire, and this sticker on, we just put the sticker on your shirt, right? And they were saying it would last. You could wash it off. You could reuse it, but you could tell like they didn't really think through with it. Like, who's going to want to reuse a sticker, right? Like, you have something that's sticky like that, comes off your clothes. Heck, I don't want to use it again. I'll just throw it away. I'm not going to like carry it around or put it somewhere and save it for next time, right? So they didn't really think about it, and they've been running this company for like 4 years. So they actually went on there. They did get an offer, but Mark Cuban actually offered to purchase the entire company from them. So they were just going to sell it to him for $200,000, and he would be the sole owner of the company. So when it got me to thinking, like, with entrepreneurs out there working their business and trying to find a, just create the job that they want, do something that they really enjoy doing, um, is like, for some, are they going to admit, are they living a nightmare, or are they actually selling a dream? Is it something that they can connect with their audience with? So of course you want to be selling a dream. Of course you want to tell a story about yourself and the business that your audience can connect and relate to, and they can see themselves using it. They can see their life improving with it. Uh, but how many out there are actually just living a nightmare and they won't give up with it, right? It becomes a tough question then, right? Do you do you get pressed in the situation with extenuating circumstances, and do you just give in? Do you just stop what you're doing and go do something else because it's taking, entirely too long? Like, I would say, to answer to all those questions, for me would be no. I don't know what it would be for you, but I think for somebody that wants to choose it, the only way you're going to ever be successful at anything is if you stay committed to it. So no matter what you're doing, a business, you're an athlete, you're a musician, doesn't matter. You've got to stay committed to it, and everybody's different, so you're not going to learn at the same pace what everybody else does, right? So I think this is where a lot of people get discouraged, because when you look at it with competition and you look at what everybody else is doing, a lot of people are fluffing, and they're embellishing, making the results sound better or look better than they actually were. But a lot of people are setting those standards that other people might create as a benchmark of what they need to do, right? And I think for entrepreneurship, it's not a good thing. It's not good, because if you really want to do this and be a business owner, you have to learn at your own pace. You can put the support of the right people around you and to create your business, but you don't ever want to give up, right? Like, I think there's a saying that I always like. I've got it printed on something in my home office, and it says, if you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, your life will be easy. And so if you could just keep at it and pay attention to what's happening, and even respond to the market or respond to experiences that you've gone through while you're starting a business, is going to make you a much, much better business person, right? And if you're really at it and really trying to figure it out, if you're a creative type person, and you can come up with a lot of solutions on your own, it's good. But you can also, just be paying attention to what other people are doing, whether you like them or not, and just test them. Test them for yourself in business and see if they work for you. There's just so many opportunities out there that I think I always try to give as much advice and support to entrepreneurs in doing this, because I feel like they're actually out trying to make their life better, make people's lives better, and it's difficult. But it's a whole lot better to be failing at that than to just be not doing that, having a job that you hate, complaining about it all the time. Like, who wants to live that life, right? Who wants to live something where you're just doing it because you're told you're supposed to? Like, this is what other people do, right? Like, we just don't think like that. Entrepreneurs don't think like that. And I even value it better to be struggling entrepreneur than to be living a life like that. Because at least you have some control over what you're doing. So whatever difficulty you're going through, whatever challenges you have, there's nobody else to blame, right? So I think this is really good for your mindset, because there's nobody else to blame but yourself. So once you start realizing that and working at your business and thinking about what you can change and do, it becomes a lot easier, because now you're just putting pressure on yourself for what to do. You can't change what other people are going to do and think about you, but you can change what you're doing to think about with your business. And so I definitely recommend for a lot of entrepreneurs I think a really important thing is to study finances. I think every entrepreneur in a business should have some sort of understanding of business finances, because personally, when you're making the money, it's best if you have some principles in place that are going to help get you through there, right? So if you're doing this and you're struggling with it, you don't want to give in and go buy that new car once you have the free extra money. You should, like what I was watching a list of Mark Cuban say, is the top one was live like a student, right? And that's something that I've done and been doing with my business because I want to reinvest into the longevity of the business. I want it to grow. So I'm not going to go waste money on something else when I have it that I don't need, right? It's like it would be a reward, I think, at a better time. So definitely want to set up rules that are going to help you to be more successful. And if you to really go into the long term, keep reinvesting into your business and partner, make friends with other entrepreneurs too, and even partner with other businesses to help grow your business, right? You could always look at and see what other people are doing to grow their business like you, and connect with them and see and test out their ideas and see what they're doing. So this idea of of selling your dream, I've talked about like the way to storytell your business. And if you think about, even if you're an entrepreneur and it's not your company, but you're solving problems inside of a business, I feel like that's an entrepreneur. You have the spirit, right? You could be a designer at Nike, and they're giving you tough challenges to solve some problems. They've got a problem with maybe some product they want to deliver, but they need some problems solved first before they can before they can put this product on the shelf. So if you have the ability to come up with these problems, not come up with them, but actually solve the problems, then I think it's good. I think you've got the spirit of the entrepreneur, and you're going to be able to go out there and really challenge the market. You're going to really be able to create businesses in the future that are going to do really well. So you can, if you have a great job at some company and you're doing well, you could use that as a platform to start your own business one day. Just always depending on your background. But ultimately, the choice should be yours, right? Ultimately, I think you should do what you feel is right, because you're going to feel a lot better about it down the road. I don't ever really believe in regret. I feel like the position when you're in, when your heart's in the right place and you make a decision to do something, even if it displeases other people, it's not their choice to make, right? So there's really no regret in that. Like, even if you go out and make mistakes and you fail at something and it wasn't the right move, it still was the right decision. So you don't want to let failures like that get you down and feel regretful, right? Like, they're stepping stones. And if you can think about keeping your business going. So going back to one of our previous episodes, we had talked about storytelling your business, and one of the concepts is having a story of your business, right? Your origin story that people can connect to, because you want to talk about your company and what you stand for and who you are, so that your audience can find some way they can connect and they can relate with you, right? This is why so many people love going to watch the movies. Like, if you got the Star Wars series, and you got all the fans of Star Wars and others. See, these people see themselves inside those movies. They connect with them. They love what's going on. They remember lines from the characters. They really see themselves in the movie. Like, they could see themselves playing that part. And that's the way you want to run your business. Is you want to think of it like a story. You want to think like you're really trying to create a universe, like they did in Star Wars, and come up with a whole new way of looking at things. If you're really that like challenging as an entrepreneur, and you're an idea trep, which means trep north, and you come up with a lot of ideas, then try to create a universe that people are going to want to live in, right? Like, you could instill the values and the principles you have about your own life and the things you use, and put that in with your company. So when you put out products and services, you stand behind them with these values, right? It's so important to do that, because people are going to respect you for it, and for sure you're going to be able to create loyalty beyond reason with your audience. And that's, if you can get that with people, you're going to help make sure your company is going to be around for a long time. They're going to help your company grow. These loyal customers of yours are going to buy every product you have. They're going to be a customer on the regular. They're, depending on, no matter what you do, they're just always there to engage and buy your products and services. So you can create a fan base like that. It'll help you support your company. So the whole point of it is to do that in a way that you're making the life of your customer better, so your customer's the hero, right? And your customer story becomes, you become a part of your customer story, which is a great thing to have running your business, which makes it a lot easier to sell your dream. Because once you get to the product, then it becomes so easy to sell the product. The product almost sells itself because they've already bought in emotionally to your company, right? And with what you are doing and provide these. So it's kind of like a badge of honor. People want to buy something and have this because of all the respect they have for your story and how they see themselves with it. They're going to be proud to own this product, right? They're going to share this product. We're going to want to tell everybody about this product or service that you have. So if you can create that, keep the storytelling inside your business, you're going to be selling a dream. You don't want to be living a nightmare. So make sure you put the supportive people around you that are going to help you run your business, so that you can stay engaged with it and grow, even when there's tough challenges ahead of you, so that you can actually really break through them and weather them, and make the changes that you need to no matter what happens with inside your business. Now, there's been quite a few other things that I've been seeing out in the market that I wanted to bring up to you guys. It's been a lot of the software that is what we call software been eating the world. It's a topic that I read in a newspaper in 2009 actually, and software has really changed a lot of things, and with the advancement of technology, it's also changing the lives of people. So one of the big hot topics, right, is automation, right, with machine learning algorithms and these softwares that can write themselves and learn. They're programmed to learn from their own previous data. So you have the ability now. We have a lot of new opportunities coming out with new technologies like this, right? It's good to adopt and keep changing with the market and to adopt these things, because it's only going to help your business grow. But things that I've been looking at and I've been wondering is how much of this, like automation, do other entrepreneurs actually instill in the business? Like with mine, I'm involved in the marketing and marketing tech, so daily I work with softwares, and I work with softwares that are relevant to the marketing and the sales division inside a company. And so that's what I work on. So automation is a really key, valuable thing, because obviously when you're getting hundreds of thousands of hits or contacts coming in all at once, it's a lot easier to have the power of a computer input all the information and to automate the process for them than to have a person dealing with each person in that process at that moment in time that they come into contact, right? So it's highly scalable to use that. It's just a no-brainer almost to use automation inside your business whenever you can. But I've been looking at it and thinking, like, well, where is this going to go, like for business? Because what I've noticed with a lot of the softwares out there is there are a lot of them growing, is that the ones that do best are the ones that remain like simple, right? Because for me, when I'm building systems for my clients, I'm always trying to think about how I can keep it simple and useful when they're using software, so they don't have to spend much time using the software. So if there's certain tasks and things that they have to do, that the software is just making it a lot easier to do it. So they can get the same job done in a lot less time, and that comes in handy with softwares that are relevant, that have a lot of R&D into them. They've researched and designed. They've understood the process of using them. They're a little bit more intuitive because they understand how people are going to use them. So the features and just everything that's there, that you're going to need going through the process is there. It's so much easier to use these things. And so I think about it a lot with my business because when I'm developing workflows, I'm trying to help them save time, automate tasks so they can make less mistakes, and truly just put the manual power behind the tasks that are really important for that. And I think that it's so powerful for entrepreneurs to get, because I've seen so many online marketers that have started to figure it out and have some new solutions, and they become good at marketing, and they've just developed some processes that really work. So when you engage with them, you see their ads or you read the marketing material, you can tell that they really believe in what they're selling. You can tell that they really believe that it works, and they'll show you that it works because it's worked for them, right? So one of the things with marketing is that you do have to have that. It's kind of hard for a marketer to sell themselves and their business to people without any proven track record that it's worked. They need to have some track record with helping companies and that they've got solutions, because most of the businesses that they hire, that hired them, a lot of people have marketing people or they have salespeople. They have somebody inside their company doing it. So their job is to just show them that they're the expert and they know what they're doing. They can help that business save time. So I was bringing these up because I just feel like when I spend a lot of time in social media when I'm trying to engage with people. I like to leverage that technology and keep in touch, because now my circle, like we were talking about earlier, on the people that influence me in some ways and I influence them, it's mostly through social media. And I like that experience, like online and social media, because it's a mix of old school media, it's a mix of marketing, and it's just a mix of networking, with people. And it really offers new opportunities, because you can work with people that were traditionally just geographically, there was no way possible you were going to work with this person. So before the internet and online came, a lot of the times these relationships or working with these people just was not possible for most people, right? They didn't have a platform to engage with somebody and to work with them in a certain way because of the locations. So when I try to create, because I think with your experience with your business, and whether you become an entrepreneur where you're selling a dream or whether you're just living a nightmare, I think a lot of it has to do with that environment that you surround yourself with. So I think you are a creature, or you are a product of your environment. So it's really important to build the right environment around you to keep you motivated, to keep challenging you, keep moving you in the right direction, right? So you can stay energized, you can stay charged, and you can keep going at it. For me, that's so critical. And with my business, I work alone. I work at a home office. So for me, I look forward to the days when my company gets big and I can hire people. And I have a group of people, a team, family of people always around me, where we're working together. And you just enjoy going to see each other, enjoy working with each other every day, right? Like, I look forward to that. So that motivates me to focus on my business, build it, make my solutions better so that I can sell enough to get to the place. Because I've outlined the way that I want to get there is keep selling my products and services, use that money to reinvest to grow the business, and that's how I plan to grow the business. So I don't plan on doing it by going out and getting a loan or looking for an investor. I want to stick with option one, which option one for me is to just keep growing the business through the sales that I make with the business. And looking down the road, just to interject with a good idea here for you out there is, I think for every entrepreneur out there, you want to think of yourself right now as owning multiple businesses. So if you can get the idea in your head that you need to work towards multiple streams of income, so that one day you can say, I own 5 businesses, I own 12 businesses. And you've got, so even if one or two take a dip or hurt or some even close, it's not going to affect you so much, right? Like, it's going to affect you. It'll obviously affect them because some income is gone, but you're you're still able to do what you want to do. You're still able to have a good lifestyle. You're still able to thrive. You have some wealth around you because you got multiple businesses. And I've learned a lot of the really, really successful entrepreneurs, they're just not invested into one thing. So this is tricky, right? Because I think this gets into the part of, well, a company's got to have employees, right? So I've always thought I wanted to be a good leader and a good role model for the people that work with my company one day, right? And I've always seen like other entrepreneurs talk about be an entrepreneur, be your own boss, do this, do that. But bigger companies have to have employees. So if that's their whole marketing pitch and talking to people, motivating that way, well, what does that mean for the employees working inside your companies? They're not, if you don't look at them as an entrepreneur because maybe you think it's only a business owner, right? Then I think it would create some friction. Like, because you're telling your employees that they're sort of worthless because you don't value them, because you're talking about how wonderful entrepreneurs are, the ones that go out and hustle, the ones that don't have a job, or the ones that have their own business or make their money self-employed, right? So I like to look at it like it's a trait that an entrepreneurship is more of a spirit. It's more of like solving problems. So obviously, there are maybe entrepreneurs that they don't want to own a business. They enjoy the environment of it, but maybe they have just certain skills and functions, and that's where they're happy, and that's what they enjoy doing. And they can be perfectly happy working inside somebody else's company. But then now I think the challenge with that becomes then, how do you? Because if I'm going to do this for myself and I want my employees to also have this mindset too, then how do you teach them to create multiple streams of income, right? So people can do that even if you have a job somewhere doing something, right? You can also invest extra money into the stock market, and then eventually maybe you're making money with your money in the stock market, right? Another thing you can be doing is investing in real estate, or you could have like a side business. Maybe they have like their own business on the side where they sell stuff online, but they have a job, like let's say they're a product developer inside of a large company. So they can create multiple streams of income by doing those other things, right? Like learning to invest with stocks, learning about investing with real estate, and doing those other things. It's much, it's shocking to me that people aren't taught to go out and look for and work for multiple streams of income. Because if you look at all the wealthy people around you, majority of them, the really wealthy people, they have many sources of income coming in. Some of them, like the rock star employees, like executives for large companies that get paid 6 figures and 7 figures and 8 figures, even 6 figures between 100 and 200,000. I read recently, still is not seen as like wealthy. Like when you're going to go and invest in real estate, you need to have even more than $200,000 in income per year to become an accredited investor, right? So there is like a standard, a base for income that people start looking at for investors. So if you're going to become an investor, you're going to work with people, you're going to be able to risk your money. You've got to have great sources of income, and so it's so much more difficult to do that, putting all of your attention onto one job or one business. You can do that for a little bit, but as a business owner, you want to think of that one business now as a future hub for all your other businesses. So you could be building this business now, but you can be thinking about what other businesses could I get into and start and run with this one later, like as I grow this business. Because if you can do that, think about your organization as like a one large business in the center and with spokes going out to all the other businesses from it, right? So all the businesses are connected in some way, one form or another. And this could really help elevate your game as an entrepreneur. This could really help you think about like actually really creating some true wealth and have good habits that in case you didn't see a shift in the market happening and one of your businesses gets tanked, one of them gets crushed, and it doesn't look like there's enough going on in that market to keep it running anymore, so you don't waste your time. But it doesn't matter because you've got other businesses, you've got other ones going on that are helping and creating your wealth, so you can afford that, and you can keep reinvesting in new businesses as well, right? So you could think about what major industry do you really want to work in, right? I know a guy that's in the sales industry, so he's in the training industry, and he goes around. He's a sales trainer for a company, but from that he's been able to create many other businesses, and a lot of the other businesses came as a direct result for his customers. So, like a lot of his customers were either realtors or insurance agents and so on. And so in dealing with those customers and helping them solve their problems, he saw other opportunities to create new businesses, and he went out and did that. So you look at his portfolio, he's got, I think, 12 businesses now. And he's got, he's just been able to see that as he runs his business, there's always new opportunities out there to start something else. And that brings up our last show. We titled it, right? Are you evaluating opportunities? So to constantly be looking out for these. A lot of the really successful entrepreneurs and wealthy people worth hundreds of millions and billions of dollars is they spot opportunities, right? Like they really look at things, and they really take, when there is an opportunity, they really take it seriously. And they really evaluate it and really evaluate whether they should do something with it. Is there an investment to make, or is there a business to start with it, right? So always being aware about that and being on that level and keeping yourself focused so that you can create that wealth and have those habits, right? So you developed your mindset enough to where you are paying attention to these opportunities that are around you, right? And keeping your mindset right? And building the environment around you that's going to be supportive of you and it's going to help keep you charged and keep moving you in the right direction. So there's just so many things that you could be doing on top of that. But by just keeping those with the base and keeping that in your pattern, you'll start realizing, and I'm sure a lot of you out there listening now is maybe you're already experiencing it, where you're even working with awesome customers. Like you're selling with people even that you respect, and you're doing business with people that think like you and are like you, and it just makes going to work and makes doing your work a lot much more enjoyable, right? Like it's so much better when you can work with people that you want to work with, and you're happy to see them grow and thrive, right? And so keep that in mind. And I would say, reevaluate a little bit about your mindset, your business. Try to make some new connections with people you respect, and just reach out and try to build some partnership with them. You can also think about, there's just so many different things that you can do with your business. One thing I've been doing differently here with the Trep Show podcast was a few weeks ago with Thaddeus and I started talking about it, and I wanted to create a new format for the show. So for all you those listening, we have the Trep Talk Facebook group. You can go in there and post your comments. Tell us what you think about the new format, and share with us some feedback on the show. But tell me, but what I was thinking of when I did it was I wanted to make it more of an engaging platform, because my passion, my idea with this is for the Trep Show to be the single source of truth for entrepreneurs wanting to build the next billion-dollar company, right? That's my mission with this podcast. So there's a lot of material that we don't want to be covering, and there's a lot of things that we should be covering and we should do. So I want to look for you guys' feedback and hear what you have to say and what information, what you're looking for as you're out there building your journey. So if you want to engage with us on the show, remember to go look inside the Trep Talk Facebook group, and we'll be looking for you there. I want to thank everybody for listening in on the show, and we'll tune into you next week. Everybody have a great weekend. And that's Trep Show number 41. Out. We'll talk to you next week.